Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of our podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Excited to talk about today's current market conditions and a few tidbits for sellers out there to navigate a successful sale.
But that kind of takes us into our next segue of Sheraz and his 75 days hard. So there's a challenge that Sheraz has been very, very disciplined on. Maybe you can kind of walk us through what exactly that it is.
Well, I just witnessed a friend in front of me go through it and drastically change his professional life, personal life, not only for the fitness aspect, but the discipline of having to get everything done. So it was forcing you to get up earlier, forcing you to get one of your 2 workouts out of the way, hitting part of that, drink a gallon of water. So for me, the biggest change is before I was getting up with my family, my kids, getting up, 7 a.m. Now I'm up 5:30, maybe 6.
Wow.
Every day. So just to get a few things off of that daily list. So it's good discipline all around. It'll definitely help you get dialed in for whatever your goals are. This just kind of helps you. I think that was
and
the
it kind of sets you up. I mean, it's a good way to live life. You're enjoying most of it. You're probably not spending time with your kids, it sounds like, and you're obviously eating better, and you're not drinking, and
well,
you're drinking
not
a lot of
eating, not
water.
drinking. I'm just, it's
Right?
tough. It's tough
good.
to.
Well, you know what? You got to have the discipline. So I'm proud of you, dude. You're doing a good job. We would go out golfing, and you don't drink or anything like that.
Trust me, it's so hard.
It's I know. I give in all the time.
Yeah.
So that's really good. And now you finished the 75, and then you started it again because you're a psycho, or what?
Well, the goal to do it was my brother's wedding in July. You see your relatives once a decade, maybe once every 2 decades, to be honest.
He's
all
getting
the way
married
in
in
Europe.
Mexico?
England. Yeah.
Nice.
And I just wanted to fit into my old wedding suit again.
There you go.
So that was 2016. So obviously,
Have you tried putting on this suit? What's your goal? Are you trying to hit a goal? Or
yeah,
do anything
I'm
with
trying
this
to
right
get to 155 pounds. When I started 75 hard, I was 180 pounds.
now? Okay.
Today I'm 161.
Nice.
So 6 pounds away.
Oh.
Podcast etiquette 101.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's the fucking government of Canada, too. Okay.
So, the podcast called Real Grind, using the word real for real estate. We are experiencing now a balance tilting towards a buyer's market. Very big influx of new listings have come on this month and more to come. Spring and summer is here. We hope, fingers crossed. So I remember we started this year about 2,500 listings. Today we're around the 4,000 mark. Actually more than that now. And
So market's becoming much more balanced now, finally.
Yep.
I think that's what we're seeing. So it's a good time maybe for buyers. I mean, I think we're still, I listed a house in Valley Ridge. We had it on Thursday. It sold on Sunday. We had the deal done. So if something is priced right and it's a nice home, I think it sells still pretty quickly. But you are seeing a lot more condos on the market, I think. Townhomes on the market. I think detached is still harder to come across. Prices have gone up quite a bit, but I think there's a lot more opportunities for buyers right now. It's a good opportunity to jump in the market if you're thinking about.
Well, the tough thing is to navigate your sellers and your listings that are now experiencing longer days on market, and you have to set yourself apart. So gone are those days of just get it live and you'll have multiple offers and you'll sell it right away, and the sellers are calling the shots. They're in the driver's seat. So it's tough to manage those expectations because honestly, 2 months ago, if your neighbor sold, you're in a different position today from even 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So to set yourself apart, when a buyer's looking at 2-3 properties beginning of this year, today they'll be looking with the same criteria, a dozen properties.
Yeah.
It's a big difference, right?
Yeah, and they have a lot more. I mean, I guess this is a good, we were kind of chatting about it earlier. What do you think is the right amount of showings you should go with your clients per day? If there's someone out there that's looking to buy a house, is it reasonable to go look at 8 properties in a day? Is it 10? Is it 5? Is it 3?
No.
From your experience, what do you think?
Statistically, I've read that you should not show more than 5 during one showing appointment and showing tour. They say that going over and above that amount will kind of cloud the perception and they'll get confused,
Mm-hmm.
forget properties that they liked, how many they saw. So
Yeah.
normally what I like to do is, have their criteria, do my homework, sort through myself and say there was 50 results for what you want. I've narrowed it down. These are the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Have a look. I know which 3, 4 I'd like you to see, but I'm curious to see what you choose as
Yeah.
well. And then I'll take them out and say, let's narrow this down and make your top 5,
Yeah.
and we go have a look at that top 5.
Exactly. Yeah, and then maybe you go out and like over the weekend, maybe you do like a Friday and a Sunday or something. You go look at 5 on one day, 5 on the other. But yeah, I think 5 is a good number. I went one time with clients that we did 10 properties, and honestly, like even as a realtor, you kind of get like almost like mentally drained after looking at that. You don't know what you're looking. Everything kind of bundles together.
Exactly.
And I feel like you're not doing the best job for your client, because if there is a house that maybe your clients do like, you're just going to have so much other information in your head. You may not be able to, maybe price the house properly. Maybe there's certain things that you may miss.
Well, they'll say things to you, right? There's certain criteria that are deal breakers, right? It can't back onto a busy street.
Yeah, maybe they don't want a paved lane in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you take the time and filter through yourself more, because sometimes I'm on showings in the past and we get to one and we're in and out because, oh, shoot, this one doesn't have what you've asked for.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is why, realtors, this is a time where it's really going to show the really good agents that are out there, because gone are those days where just having a license brought you deals.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Now, actually, realtors have to work a little bit to actually sell something, right? This is what the actual business is about, right? It's not that you just list a property and you'll have 10 showings the first day and 5 offers.
Yeah. Do you remember that how sellers have to think of ways to set themselves apart today? There was a funny story way back when, and someone was struggling to sell their property. So as an advertising gimmick, so to speak, they were offering a garage full of beer.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
2
100%.
pallets dropped off.
Yeah.
And it was cool. It like made local news and stuff, and it got the place sold, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was like $1,000 worth of booze, or $2,000 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
just like 2 pallets worth. But hey, buy a house, you don't got to worry about beer for a while.
Have a party.
Yeah. So things like that will today now go over and above, because those buyers are now looking at much more options. So how are you going to stand out? Another big topic of discussion lately is when I'm sitting in front of sellers at listing presentations, they ask me, now you've seen my home, we have your CMA, but now that you've seen it in person, we were thinking of doing a few things before getting it ready to go live on the market. What do you suggest we do? Is there some renovations, some light renovations, touch-ups? What do you suggest we do to get our home sold? The tough part with this question, and to accurately answer it, is you don't always guarantee you'll get that back. For example, let's say your house is $500,000 and you're about to spend $50,000. I can't promise you're going to get $550 now for your home. You might get a quicker sale. It might be $530, $525. So you have to really manage those expectations, and always remember, general rule of thumb, start with the kitchen. If you're thinking of any updates and renovations, number 1 is your kitchen
and bathrooms,
then the bathrooms, and then other cosmetic stuff can be left, because a new buyer may want to do their own style of flooring, their own color choices for the paint, right? But do a good job of having your kitchen up to date, having your bathrooms updated, and then other main things are like, is your roof been recently done? Are all your windows okay? Is there one old basement window you might want to spend that little bit of money and make it an egress window?
Or if your basement isn't, is your basement developed or not? Can you suite it? Suite it is a big thing.
Yep.
A lot of people now, like if you're in the newer houses looking in the northwest, northeast, a lot of people want it to be suited so that they can live upstairs and then rent the basement, just so they can kind of help offset the mortgage, right? Because a lot of the price has gone up so high, obviously wages haven't. So this is a good kind of way that people can offset their mortgage, and it obviously helps the rental market a little bit. So that is all, but it's not cheap. I mean, if you want to do a basement properly, legal to code, I mean, I think you're looking 70, 80K.
Yeah.
Right.
And the rules are, your utility room must be now closed off, drywalled, insulated and finished.
Yep.
You must have 2 furnaces now, and you must have a clear, complete separate entry. It cannot be through the other unit at all.
Yeah.
So there's a few things like that, additional smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, and of course, the permitting is not much at all, and it's quick, and they fast tracked it
Yeah.
for you to
I think
get.
they made it pretty easy, but I mean, I think, like, do you think if you were to build your basement, like, I guess from maybe your experience, if you were to renovate a basement and then put it up for, let's say you rent it out and then you try to sell the house, do you get your money back or most of it? Or are you able to sell the house quicker? Like, or is it better to just not spend the money on the basement, and then maybe use that as a negotiating tool?
So
What do you think?
It's all really different based on the areas. There's certain communities in certain areas where it is a higher demand to have a suite,
Yeah.
higher rental rates, but not so much when you're in the farther out communities. It's more kind of inner city, closer to public transit that are going to get good tenants, longer tenants.
Actually, that's a
higher
good point
rates.
too. Like, it
Like,
depends on where you're at.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
if you're all the way, let's say, all the way deep south, Mackenzie or deep north, Livingston, something like that, it's a little bit different than if you have a home that's right off Center Street in Highland Park or something, right? Or Mount Pleasant, if you have an older home there. Of course, you should suite that. It'll rent all day long. You'll get much more. But of course, if you have the means to do that, it'll be advantageous for a new buyer, whether they use it as a suite or not. It's all that's like, do you have a garage or not? Should I build one? If you have the means and the funds and time to do it, it's only gonna add value. It's not going away. But then again, even to talk about that, I have this discussion all the time. A garage, to put one up, 25 to 30,000. But if you look at run a proper CMA, the same house in comparison, having a garage and not having, it's a difference of about 15,000. So you don't get all of that money back.
Yeah.
But it does increase value,
so
and it's something that'll always be there.
Yeah, so the point should be is if you're going to build a garage, maybe you're not doing it. If you're doing it specifically just to make the money on it, maybe not. But if you're thinking about selling in a couple of years, maybe you can use the garage, have the benefit of parking your car there in the winter and all that kind of stuff, and then you go to sell it, like whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes
And
sense.
sellers out there listening, thinking about selling your home this spring, this summer, there is little things you should consider. People think just putting those Glade plug-in or Glad plug-in, those aren't good. It's like they say bake a loaf of bread, buy some of those cookies you can just put in and bake. Have some music playing if you have central speakers, or the realtor can play some, cafe style, just music. So you have to appeal to the senses when someone comes up to your property. So pressure wash the exterior.
Yeah, curb appeal is super important.
Yeah.
Mow the lawn.
Yeah.
If you plant some flowers, make sure you get rid of any debris or garbage.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all the appealing to the senses. You pull up, they get out of their car. They're first gonna look. How are they gonna take that in?
Yeah.
Then
How
they
is it all
walk
taken in?
in.
Yeah.
Is there natural light? Is it a good smell? Does it flow correctly, right? So all these things matter, and the less personal items as well.
A lot of people refer to the energy of the house.
Yeah.
Say, I love the energy in here.
Yeah,
like this
of
and that,
course.
right? I think part of that is because if someone puts, their best foot forward and they put the lights on, put music on, make this place smell nice, it appeals to your senses. Exactly
you're gonna set
saying,
yourself. Right? They're gonna remember that
the
home
energy is there exactly
versus the other ones.
Yeah.
And then I know it's your home, but now it's for sale. So now consider it an asset that you're now trying to sell and liquidate. So personal things, personal photos, a lot of people don't like to remove them, but hey, you're about to sell your home, you're going to move anyways. So because you want a buyer to picture themselves.
Exactly.
So when you have too much personal things, then they start to get caught up in looking at who lives here and whose room. And so just try to make it now like a business decision for someone and try to remove yourself. And it's tough to do that.
Yeah.
But and some people don't like to. But
I guess it depends on how long you've been in the house. You've been in the house for 25 years. It's going to be hard to remove some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, if you've only been there for a few years, like a lot of people will now, I try to direct my clients to just get those big storage boxes, put everything in the garage, right? Kind of your big, your camping stuff and your skiing stuff and like whatever, right? Just kind of put it all, just kind of keep the bare minimum that you kind of need just when you're selling your house. Because if everything is done properly, I mean, in the first 2 weeks, you should be able to have an offer, right? Now, unless something comes from inspections or maybe the buyers didn't get their financing, you got to take it to market. But I mean, in my, 15 to 30 days, you should have at least a good sense of how many offers you're getting, what the deal is, and then go from there, right? You don't want to, I guess, keep your property listed for so long, and then it's hard to maintain that, keep the property clean, keep all that stuff there. So I try to say, look, it's going to be 2 weeks of pain. We'll try to get as many people as you can in there, try to clean it all up, and then we should be, once the house is sold, then you go back to living life. Right. So it's just like, do you guys want to drag this out for 90 days, or do you want to just get this done now?
And all those factors come into play. What is your price when you go live? Because your first wave of appointments and buyers that are doing private viewings are your most serious ones.
Exactly.
Right. Because they have a criteria set. Their agents out there doing their job. So when a new listing comes up that hits their criteria, they're serious. Right. So you don't want to be like, we're happy with 550, but let's go 580, 575, and let's see.
Let's see what
we
happens.
can always drop it. Well, you're gonna miss those really serious buyers if you're gonna go that route today. I'm talking today's market and where we are today. So really, really set yourself apart. Do these extra little things. Think of what you're willing to accept and not accept when you're also looking for that next home. And that brings me to another really tough topic. Most people need to need to sell their current home and use all of that to buy their next home. So they need to do these two deals. How do you strategically set that up? Because I've had some clients where they accept a great offer day one. We were told that the possession will be negotiable, the buyer's flexible, but then we find the next home and now we're asking them to adjust their possession. So my clients are moving once from their existing home into their new home, but the buyer's like, no, we're going to go ahead with the date we have on the contract.
The seller.
The seller.
Yeah.
And so then they're in a tough situation, right? If they can't get that other possession for their new home adjusted, which they couldn't, they had to go and put their stuff in storage and pay for that, move all of that in there, get into an Airbnb, and then wait. So it was 2 weeks of pain for them, but it was 2 weeks of extra cost they shouldn't have incurred.
You got to get an Airbnb,
So,
you got to do all that.
Yeah, really important to get things in writing. Don't take...
It's a little dance you got to play, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's much more cost effective for you to take possession of your new home even before your current home has been officially sold, because you can do daily bridge loan through your lender, through the lawyers. So you can easily take possession having two firm sales. So that's the best way to go about it, just to avoid you being homeless for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, if you're really confident that everything is going good, you could try to have everything on the same day. But the problem is it's quite risky, because one thing goes sideways, then you're kind of thing, right? So, but I've done it before where you do it on the same day, everything goes good, and then I've done it where you do it the same day and then things kind of get a little delayed, and then you're right. Like your buyers are at their new home, they can't get into it. You're trying to figure out what do you do. It's always just freaking hectic. So I sometimes try to buffer in on 1 or 2 days. Maybe they can go stay with in-laws or their family or somebody. It's not ideal, but if you can do it same day and you trust the parties, maybe it'll work. But that's the dance. It's really tough to do that.
Yeah, and it's you and the other agent, always build that rapport from day one.
Sometimes they're not cooperative. That's why I always make it a point to make sure I go and talk with them. You have a good conversation. You got to have a few touch points, during the conversation, right? So even on a inspection day, like I'll call the agent, or if they're trying to do, rather than just communicating through text, have a quick conversation with them, right? So you try to build that. Hey, how's your day going? What's going on? Oh, just
build a rapport, because
I went hiking today.
Yeah, it's you two that are gonna put a deal together. So
okay. No, this is perfect. Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you learned a little bit and got some valuable insights. We always appreciate you guys joining and following along. And stay tuned for more episodes.